Hey guys, I think this is on. I'm gonna start doing these live every morning now, um, just to hopefully get some interaction eventually. Anyways, this is episode 2 of the Solopreneur Grind vlog. My name is Josh, and I'll be taking you through my entrepreneurial journey, talking about business, how I got started, how things are going, struggles, things that are working. So today I've been thinking a lot about lifestyle as an entrepreneur. I think it's something that's often overlooked. So not just from a business sense, a strategic sense, a tactical sense, what should you do? How should you do it on your business? But kind of what about the personal side? What about the lifestyle stuff? What about how you're living? What about how to give yourself the best chance of success? And there's a few topics that I really like to cover in that sense, mental health, physical health. Those are the two big ones. The third one I like to talk about has to do with like budgeting and frugality. So the title is Entrepreneurial Frugality. And the reason why I think it's so important when you're starting out, really, and for the rest of your life, I think frugality is a good trait to have. But if you're starting out, the number of dollars you have in your bank account is basically decides your runway. And what I mean by runway is how long you can go to give your new business a try before you're like, oh crap, I don't have money. I have to pay rent, or I have to pay for groceries, or I have to pay for whatever expenses you have. Maybe you have none if you're, lucky enough to be able to live with your parents or friends or grandparents or whatever. That's awesome. But the reality for most people is, and what it was for myself is, if you're starting a brand new business or you're trying to grow a brand new business and you're not working your 9 to 5 anymore, you can only really do it for as long as you have savings or you have money in the bank. So there's kind of two scenarios I want to quickly touch on here. Number one is if you're working a 9 to 5 and you're side hustling to get your business up and running, that's awesome. You can work your 9 to 5, you have your steady income. And then it's just a matter of kind of finding that sweet spot for when you want to ditch the 9 to 5 and shift over to full time. And that's probably a whole vlog in and of itself. What happened for me was I was working a 9 to 5, and then I had a contract that was ending. There was an end date. So I knew months and months ahead of time that I didn't want to continue it, wanted to do my own thing, didn't even know what it was, but I knew I wanted to do something. And if I wanted to give that something a chance, that I had to have as much savings in the bank account as possible. So I really changed my lifestyle around, started eating at home a lot more often, cooking, which, I'm in Canada. I don't know about where you live, but if you're at home, you're cooking your meals, it's a lot cheaper than going out eating at restaurants and stuff every day. So that was a big one. Eat out less, fewer activities on the weekend. I don't want to make myself sound like a hermit, like I wasn't doing anything in my spare time, because I was, but just cutting down on like the heavy activities, maybe not going out for drinks as much, maybe not going, crazy travels and stuff as much, and really banking it, knowing that, hey, one day I'm going to be able to rely on this so that I can build a business for the long run, right? Because what this really is a short-term sacrifice. So short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. If you can sacrifice a few months or a year living frugally, saving a lot, then if that'll give you the chance to give your own business a real chance and be able to live off that for the rest of your life, work on that for the rest of your life, I think most of us would agree. I'm assuming most people watching this are entrepreneurial in spirit or have already started their business or want to grow their business. So that's what I did. I basically took the last 6 months of my contract, save every penny possible, started prepping, researching when I had the spare time, what to do, how to do it, best way to approach it. And I think that's something a lot of people underestimate, especially if you're going to quit your 9 to 5 before you start, right? Because that's the other option. First option, you're working your 9 to 5, you're side hustling. Second option, you just quit your job, or maybe you don't have one to begin with. So you want to get started there. So what I did, again, is basically save as much as I could leading up to the end of the 9 to 5. And that gave me a much longer runway. So my current business, it took me about 4 to 5 months to get to like half decent revenue. And I don't mean great revenue. I mean like covering expenses and like, oh my God, I think I I think I can finally not worry about having to get a job now. The only reason I got to that point is because I saved up about 6 to 8 months worth of living expenses. So I was getting pretty close to that limit. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to give that company a try. Because another thing a lot of people don't realize is your business can easily take you 6 to 12 months, if not more, to hit that level of revenue that you might need to cover your expenses. Sure, you might be already underway or have a great idea or have a business model that's like fairly quick to revenue, or you're just an absolute superstar. But the reality is, for most, it might take 6+ months to hit revenue, and you need to give yourself that time, because you could have a life-changing business, but if you can only try it for a month or two and then you're forced to go back to a 9 to 5, or because you don't have a long runway, you just decide to switch ideas, let's just say, that could be a winning business that you just didn't have enough time to give to it. So that's, again, a whole other conversation in and of itself, kind of evaluating, pivoting if you have to within your business. But I really think a big key, especially when you're getting started, live frugally unless you already have tons of money in the bank, and give yourself a long runway for your business. If you're thinking about starting one, or if you already have, or if you're like, maybe you have, but you're struggling and you don't know what to do, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I did. Hopefully that sheds a little bit of light there. And that's it for today. I'll check in tomorrow, and with just a little bit more about what's on my mind, what's going on in my business, and how I can help with yours. So thanks for watching. All the best.